And the Premier League weekend got underway at lunchtime as Sunderland lost 4-1 at home to Arsenal, making this the worst start for any side in Premier League history. Alexis Sanchez and Olivier Giroud both scoring twice for Arsenal. And there are 5 games at 3 o'clock as well today, including for the very first time this season, Manchester United, who welcome Burnley to Old Trafford this afternoon. And Wednesday's 1-0 win over local rivals Manchester City was welcome respite from their Premier League form, as Jose Mourinho's side have just 1 win from their last 6 Premier League games, and they make 4 changes to the side which lost at Chelsea, including 3 of the back 4. Now, all of Burnley's 10 points have come at Turf Moor this season, and they haven't won at Old Trafford since 1962, when John Connolly scored a hat-trick in a 5-2 win, and they make 1 change with Andre Gray returning from suspension. It's the Hawthorns today. Pep Guardiola has gone 6 games without a win for the very first time in his managerial career. The most recent being Wednesday's EFL Cup defeat, when Manchester City failed to have a shot on target for the first time in 4.5 years. And they make 3 changes from their last league game, including a return for Nolito. West Brom manager Tony Pulis signed a new contract this week, a contract extension, but he has lost all 10 Premier League games against Manchester City. He makes 2 changes from last week, with Johnny Evans and Chris Brunt returning.
Watford welcome Hull to Vicarage Road today. Walter.
Thanks, Mark. Yes, now a chance to have a quick history lesson as we look back at some key events that took place on this day in years gone by. So, October the 29th, 2005, Wigan were sitting pretty in second spot in the Premier League as they beat Fulham 1-0 thanks to an injury time winner from Pascal Chimbonda, who would later on hand in a transfer request while still in his full kit. Very strange day that was. October 29th, 1994, though, saw Chris Sutton score twice in Blackburn's 2-0 win at Nottingham Forest, a season that saw them crowned Premier League champions. Chris, what do you remember from this day? A couple of goals for you there. Absolutely brilliant.
To be honest, you're quite right. Absolutely brilliant goals. We had a great start to the season, didn't we? And it was neck and neck with Manchester United. And we didn't get over the line comfortably, but that was mainly down to 2 poor refereeing decisions.
Oh, dear.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. OK, finally, in 2008 on this day, Harry Redknapp, your Tottenham side, drew 4-4 at We are in game week 10 now. How on earth has that happened? It's gone so quickly already, and more than 20% of fantasy Premier League managers were very disappointed to see informed Theo Walcott miss the early kickoff with that hamstring injury. It's finally happened. We've been waiting for it. But Arsenal still managed fine without him, winning 4-1 against Sunderland. 2 goals by Alexis Sanchez makes him the current top scorer across the whole of FPL on 68 points. So, if he wasn't your captain this week, possibly time to get him in and captain him for next. Liverpool's playmaker Philippe Coutinho was the most popular transfer target this week, having scored 4 goals and 2 assists now. He'll be looking to add to that in today's late game against Crystal Palace, which you can watch live on BT Sport 1 later. Now, Manchester City's Sergio Aguero is in 1.8 million squads this week, and those who have stuck with the Argentinian will be hoping that he returns to form, having only scored 2 points in his last 3 Premier League games. And I'll be keeping you up to date with all of today's fantasy football news throughout all of the live 3 o'clock games. Chances, no goals yet, though, currently at Old Trafford, where Man United are hoping to continue their form against Burnley, having not lost a home league match against the Clarets since 1962. And after his midweek goal, Juan Mata is the most transferred in Manchester United player this week, with over 89,000 FPL managers, which is the lowest in the league. And Rebecca has tweeted in a question for Harry Redknapp, who's watching the Manchester United-Burnley game. Rebecca's asking you, Harry, surely the lack of goal action for Burnley this season means that... Yeah, because it's still goalless at White Hart Lane, where Claudio Ranieri has never lost a Premier League game against Tottenham, having won 7 and drawn 3. But the most selected FPL defender, Kyle Walker, will be hoping to deny Leicester's attack, having racked up 48 points already this season, which is pretty impressive. And social media is alight, as there's a bit of contrast from this fixture last year, when Spurs fans were confident of catching Leicester on top. There's been all sorts of banners and tweets going around, but a fan, Miguel Delaney, has tweeted in saying Leicester fans, in response to last season's "We're coming for you" chant, are now singing in White Hart Lane, Tottenham Hotspur, we're waiting for you. And Robbie, there's been a news from the rest of the Football League generally, because top of the Championship Newcastle is still goalless away at Preston North End. But having won 10 of their last 12 league games, you would expect some goals there today. In fact, Benitez has won more points with Newcastle this season than he did at the same stage last season with Real Madrid. What about League Two side Carlisle, though? They're currently 1-0 at home against Crawley, thanks to Jabo Abir. Carlisle are delighting fans, unbeaten in their last 15 league games, their best run since a club record of 19 in 1995, as Mark Duffel has tweeted in, saying congratulations to the history-making Carlisle squad, still unbeaten. Let's keep it going. Hashtag proud to be a Cumbrian. And Sergio Aguero on the score sheet. Yes, thank goodness I kept him in mind this week. He's one of the most talked about fantasy Premier League players, and he's not scored in his last 6 appearances for Manchester City, but he's now netted 2 against West Brom. Mixed news for fantasy managers, because 19% who captain the striker will be delighted he's currently returning 9 points plus bonus points to come as well. But 100,000 players who dropped him are going to be kicking themselves, just as Graham Ruthven is, as he's tweeted us saying, I chose a really good week to take Sergio Aguero out of my fantasy football team. Not good, Graham. And Robbie, a question for you as well regarding Aguero from Jordan, who says, do you think being kept on the bench... Oh, we'll get to that question in a minute, because there's been a goal at Middlesbrough, Jermaine.
Honestly, it's...
Well, undoubtedly, the top story in fantasy football world so far this week is that Sergio Aguero is back with a bang at West Brom. This has taken the striker to a total of 48 points, putting him hot on the heels of City's top scorer, Raheem Sterling. Elsewhere in the Premier League, Gaston Ramirez scored his first goal of the season against Bournemouth, as Mark was just telling you, delighting the 0.7% of managers who had faith in the Middlesbrough man. Such a small ownership. It's got to be one of the smallest across the whole of FPL. But goals have been a little light on the ground in today's 3 o'clock kickoffs. Burnley's Tom Heaton has been frustrating Man United over at Old Trafford, as we expected. The keeper has recorded 6 saves so far today, securing him his 40th. See what that goal in the Spurs-Leicester game means for fantasy Premier League managers, because Musa equalised against Tottenham, and yet again we see a midfielder put the ball in the back of the net. In fact, of the 252 goals this season, only 76 have been scored by forwards. Unsurprisingly, this is reflected in the FPL top scorers chart, where 8 out of the 10 top scoring players are midfielders or defenders. So if you're looking for extra points, it might be worth building from the back. Assist points for Jamie Vardy, who returns to the team after being benched last weekend as well, and that bumps him up to 33 points, just behind Christian Fuchs as Leicester's top FPL scorer as well. FPL managers will be keen to keep their valuable clean sheets now. Holebas at Watford looks like a prime contender today. The Hornets are on course for a 3rd consecutive clean sheet, and Holebas's 38th point of the season. Now, there's also a surprise clean sheet on the cards at the Hawthorns. John Stones is yet to keep one during his time at Manchester City, so it could prove a welcome boost as City head for only their 2nd clean sheet of the season. Has there been a red card or Harry Redknapp?
Yeah, second year.
Because the top trending Premier League player on Twitter this afternoon is currently Burnley's Tom Heaton yet again. He's made an incredible 11 saves to keep out Man United, scoring FPL managers 9 points before bonuses are even applied yet. And he must be doing something right, because can you believe it? He's tweeted, we've got a tweet in from Peter Schmeichel, who said, watching the game, the best save in years, hit the post and just hit the bar. Is there any way Man United are going to score?
Who would have thought? I thought Tom Heaton must be